Today we're going to get you ready for our next anchor assignment with an ace response that we've been prepping for quite some time.
Let's remember that you are being tested on very specific skills. You are not getting a completion grade. You will never get a completion grade in this class.
Alright, so the skill we are working on here, if you didn't guess already, is an ace response. We've done a lot of these, but this is the first time we're really putting it to the test. So A, to answer a question in your own words. C, cite evidence from a text. And E, explain why your citation is related to your answer.
And here are the specific rubrics for these three skills. The first one is that you can answer. That means you can introduce your topic. So if you don't do this, you get a 0. If you have no obvious thesis or it lacks an introduction, so it's there but we don't really know what you're talking about, that's a 1. If it's there and we kind of know what you're talking about but it's a little unclear or unrelated, then that's a 2. If it's there and it's done pretty well and it's clear and it's complete, then it's a 3. If it's focused and it is on topic and it responds thoroughly to the prompt and it's engaging, that means it makes me think about it, it makes me want to read it, then it's a 4.
Alright, next up is our citation. So, your citation is developing ideas which are supported with evidence. This is essentially correctly citing evidence to support the answer you will have before that. So, of course, as always, the only way to get a 0 is to have no work. A 1, you provide minimal supporting details, facts, or evidence that is not cited. So if you give us evidence, but you don't actually cite it at all, or if the evidence you give us only minimally supports your thesis, that would land you in the 1 territory. A 2, develops ideas unevenly or with inadequate supporting details, facts, or unclearly cited evidence. If you make an attempt to cite evidence, but you don't quite do it right, and we can kinda, if we stretch it a little, see where your evidence is coming from, that's where your 2 will get you. Now 3, if you develop your ideas adequately with supporting details, facts, and cited evidence, this is you cited your evidence, you clearly pointed to where it comes from, and the evidence actually does support the answer in a way that makes sense without stretching. And 4, where honestly most of you should land on this one, really and truly, of all our 4s, this is probably the easiest 4 we've ever given you, develops ideas thoroughly with relevant supporting details, facts, and properly cited evidence. If you format your quotation properly, like we spent 2 videos practicing, and if you cite evidence that has anything that clearly has to do with your thesis, you will get a 4 here. So everyone should get a 4 here.
And explain. This is the analysis of evidence, which means this is how we think about our evidence and present how we think about our evidence. So again, if you don't explain, if all you did was answer and cite, you get a 0. If it lacks commentary, so if you just basically say your answer and your citation over again without even kind of giving us new information, that's a 1.
A really easy way to fall into a 1 here that a lot of you have been doing is if you spend your explanation just repeating your evidence and doing nothing else, that would land you at a 1 because that's not commentary.
So then a 2 is to provide insufficient commentary to demonstrate understanding. So this is where maybe I tried to explain it, but Mr. Tomas, Miss Smikala, and Miss King don't understand what it was I was trying to explain. And then a 3, a 2, no, a 3. A 3. We should put the numbers up here next time. A 3 provides sufficient commentary to demonstrate understanding. This means you did just enough for us to understand where you're coming from, what you're thinking, and why you chose that quote to go with that answer. And then a 4 is insightful commentary and deep analysis. This takes us to the next level. It doesn't just tell us why you chose that quote to go with that answer, but it gives us a deeper understanding of your thought process in choosing those.
As long as you use that sentence frame correctly that we spent an entire lesson going over, which says, this shows that, which means that, you can easily land in the 3. As long as you correctly use that sentence frame, you can guarantee yourself a 3 here. A 4 will still be harder to push for because you actually have to have deep analysis. You have to say something really thoughtful about why your quote is a good one. So, as a reminder, the expository paragraph's topic is, what problems occur when the rules and expectations of society in Harris and Bergeron are different than what people actually need? Your thesis goes in that first topic sentence box. This is your answer. Notice it's green. So identify the topic of the paragraph for your reader. Give us your thesis right here. Tell us what your paragraph is going to be about.
And yes, this is the exact same thesis that you used for your quote anchor.
Now, if you feel like that thesis is weak or you don't understand it or you just did it so that you could say I finished it so that we wouldn't get on you, okay, fair, But you probably need to start getting yourself a different thesis that'll work a little better for this assignment so you can get full credit.
Then you're going to bring your citation over. And this, again, is the same citation that you should have used in your quote anchor. But just like with the answer, if your quote anchor wasn't good enough, like maybe we left you some commentary saying, hey, this quote isn't very strong, or maybe it's not formatted correctly, you can bring those fixes over to this assignment to better your grade.
Remember, you can use the sentence frame we have right here. It says, for example, the text says, and then you can put the quotation from the text right where those 3 dots go. Don't forget to format it correctly with that parenthetical citation. To finish out is your explanation. Just like we said, use the sentence frame. This shows that. Paraphrase your evidence in your own words here, which means that, and tell us how it relates back to your answer. You must do both of these things for this to get a 3, so you should not have a difficult time getting a 3 if your quote actually makes sense for your thesis.
Remember, the first blank, you are reiterating your citation, and in the second blank, it's your answer.
We've been prepping for a while for this activity, everybody, so honestly, this anchor assignment, most of the work is done for you in one way or another in past lessons. So this thing should take you less time than it took to watch the video. Get to work, sailor!